Hello, in this video I would like to talk to you a bit about this PC Duo. Kind of a rarity. I shouldn't even say kind of. It's just rare. Because this is obviously a Duo R casing. In this video I will talk to you a little bit about what I think this is. We will take it apart. And also I'll show it to you working. Yeah, another bit of information. It's American region or North American or U.S., however you want to call it. Only plays North American card games and has the English CD BIOS. So yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so you can see the system here. You can see that it just says PC Duo right on the front there. I will go ahead and show you underneath. PC Duo, product code HES Duo02. Uses the same voltage and amperage as a Japanese PC Engine Duo R. The AC adapter is something that's never been released, like a US model, or I assume there was one that came with it, because otherwise how would the person who had this Duo use it? Yeah, you can see the manufacturing code there, or I'm sorry, the serial number and then manufacturing date, which is kind of interesting because in a Duo R, the serial number would normally be there. Now that I think about it, I've got a, I've got a Duo R case and motherboard over here because I was going to compare the two. Yeah, you can see the bottom of a Duo R case here. This part's blank with all the information's imprinted into the plastic or molded that way with a serial number in that spot. But yeah, spoilers, I already had this open once, not just now, but before, and there's no difference with the chips on the board, but I'm going to open it up anyways to show you what the board looks like. It's pretty much identical to a Duo R motherboard. Other than, I don't know if my camera is going to pick it up, but the shade of green of the actual PCB is like a little bit stronger colored green. I don't know if that's just because it's newer. But it's just a little darker shade of green when you look at it. I remember seeing this thing up for auction, and I was actually planning on bidding on it. And yeah, obviously I missed out on it because this isn't my Duo. But I remember the day specifically because I was kicking myself later. I forgot to bid on it. Because I was at work at the time. It ended like in the middle of the afternoon. I think it was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon or something like that. But surprise, surprise, here it is for me to look at years later. Let me disconnect that CD lid switch there. Oh, you know what? I should probably show you this. This is really cool. You might have already seen it. Look down here at the power slider switch. It's purple. Duo R's. Look right over here. It's plain. There's nothing there when you move over the slider. It's just white. So that's kind of odd that they threw that on there. But whatever. They were trying something new, I guess. Anyways, back to opening this back up again. The CD lens assembly is exactly the same as a Duo R. Here. The reason what I mean by that is, yes, all the Duos use the same lens, but a Duo RX actually has a different gear. The RX comes in like it's 2 pieces for the gearing on an RX, and they're kind of held together with a spring underneath. And I think the reason was for that is to kind of give the gear a little more of a smoother operation when it runs, as opposed to just a one big piece gear that kind of stops or starts a little more abruptly because it's just one piece. But either way, exactly the same as a Duo R. So let's see here. Let's get this board out. The guy who sent me this Duo, I do a lot of repairs for him. I don't know if they're all his personal systems or if he's a reseller, but he sends me a lot of stuff to check out. I do a bunch of repairs, obviously, for Turbografx and PC Engine systems, if you didn't know that already. But this one didn't have any problems from what I could tell, at least from what I remember when I first looked at it. It works great. Sometimes he sends me stuff just to look at, just to make sure it's fine, that it doesn't need like any immediate maintenance or anything like that anytime in the near future. So, but here's the board. It's laid out exactly like a Duo R board. It wouldn't fit in the shell otherwise. But let me hold up my PC Engine Duo R board, and can you see the difference in the green of the PCB there? This one on the right, it's more of like I don't know, like a yellowish green being picked up on camera. And this one here, this weird US model, it's just straight up a stronger green color. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. So maybe it's just because it's newer, but oh, I got a screw underneath there. So yeah, this isn't my Duo, and I don't believe the owner plans to sell it, so don't start asking me those questions. Now, I already looked at the chips on here. They're exactly the same, other than I don't really think this plays into it because I'm pretty sure the chip is programmed or flashed from the factory to have the correct CD BIOS on it. But the chip right down here, this one, it's the same number code or model number, but it says NEC on it on this US board, where the other one, or the Duo R from Japan, says OKI or Oki on it. I don't know if you pronounce the whole thing or if it's just OKI separately, but same number underneath it. Otherwise, I couldn't see anything different with any of the chips on the between the two boards. Yeah, so very interesting kind of seeing the inside of these two things. Trying to think. Oh, yeah, there was one other thing that's different on this. See the heat sinks here? They're laid out the same, but when you turn the board over, you can see these white outlines printed on the board for how the heat sinks are supposed to be laid out. I've never seen that on a Duo R motherboard before. Now, I'll show you. Let me grab this one I have here. There's no outline for that, for the heat sinks. Let me find them. Yeah, right here. There's no outline. So that's kind of strange. Something just different with the, the production process, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I've seen no difference. These even have the same capacitors. If you compare the two, we even have the same color. I mean, obviously they're the same value. They'd have to be since the boards are pretty much identical. But the same colors for the caps. So they came from the same batch brand of capacitors. Other than I do see one that's different, right? Right over here. This one's kind of blue wrap around it, and this one's light blue on the Japanese Duo R. But other than that, let me move this over here so you can get a better look. These and these, and black ones over there, light blue ones next to it, they're the same batch of capacitors. But yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about the hardware part of this thing. So anyways, let me put it back together. I'll just do that off camera, and then we'll show this thing in action so I can show you the US or North American English CD BIOS that loads up when you turn the system on. So here we go. One more thing I forgot to point out while I had this apart before I put it back together again. I didn't realize to mention the imprinting code here on the side. It does not match up with the serial number on the bottom of the case, so I'm not sure what that code is for. If you can read it there. I've never seen a Duo R or RX motherboard with a code written right there on the board either. So that is also odd. Another thing to point out is most Duo R systems have a code, let me point at it here with my screwdriver, up in here. And there's nothing there. This one's just blank. And I'll show you here on the Japanese Duo R, you can see this information written up in here, which the US board does not have. So a little bit different with just things printed on the board. But as far as all the hardware is concerned, all the chips, it's all identical. Okay, I've got everything hooked up here and ready to go. First things first, I'll show you the CD BIOS screen and how it is indeed in English. When you go to the, here I'll show you my controller so I can assure you, and I'm not faking you out. Here's the select button to go into the menu, and you see it is in English. There's no games on here, no save files right now. But yeah, so English CD BIOS menu. I'll go ahead and load up a game. Oh, that's right. I already put one in there. So run. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that this system exists. My guess is probably one of two things. Probably most likely this was a replacement system for somebody who had one of the original US Turbo Duos that the capacitors went bad on. Back in, I'm pretty sure this was in 93, the mail order company TurboZone Direct was doing a deal where if you had an original Duo and the capacitors were going bad, if the audio was glitching out on you, you could send in your original Duo plus $50, and they would send you a brand new US Duo in the box. So this could have been a replacement for that if they ran out of black US Duos. The other possibility is that, at least what I'm thinking it's some kind of promo model. Maybe it made its rounds through like for the US consumer electronic shows or something like that, to maybe show off, what the US would eventually get, being that it just says PC Duo on the front. Because these things, generally stuff at the consumer electronic shows we don't see in the US till maybe half a year or a year later. But then again, it did say this was produced in 93. You think this would have been maybe 92 if that was a thing with consumer electronic shows. So, but yeah, it's just weird how I just really think it's a promo model, because at the same time, if it was something somebody got as a replacement for a bad US Duo, why wouldn't it say Turbo Duo on it? Why would it say PC Duo? It's weird because that just screams to me Japanese, even though it's English, the BIOS in there. So yeah, very, very odd. I better show you that it's region locked to US for the US card games. So here's US JJ and Jeff. Yeah, I know it's super worn out. It's my test copy when I'm testing out game systems. So there you go. There's some JJ and Jeff. I'll load that up and play some of that. But yeah, it's region locked to the US for the card games. The CD drive is region free, just like all the CD drives are for these systems, whether it's a Japanese or US system, regardless of if it's a Duo, meaning any Turbografx or PC Engine related hardware. The CD drive is region free. Now, obviously, some of them, like this, has a Super CD system card, included, built in. Whereas some of the other setups, you have to make sure to get that extra Super CD system card, so you can play the Super CD-ROM games. I was hoping, since this thing was released so late in the PC Engine's lifespan, that there would be something really cool hardware-wise with it, like built-in arcade card RAM or something like that. That would have been really cool. Because if you think about it, with this system, the only way to use an arcade card is if you have a card converter to put in the slot, because all the arcade cards were Japanese region only. So yeah, that's kind of one drawback. I mean, same thing with an American Duo, but the American Duos, there were the black Duos, I should say, the U.S. Duos or North American Duos. The card slot was a different shape, so there was the ability to use other card converters. Where this one, being that's this like deeper, kind of like curved upper molding here, it won't fit a lot of the card converters. So the only ones that would really fit were those really long ones that stuck way out from the system. But yeah, very interesting system. I'm happy to be able to get some of this recorded and get it out there, because who knows, once the owner of this system gets it back, if you'll never see any info about it again or see it pop up anywhere. So yeah, interesting system. Who knows how many more of these are out there. But if you enjoyed the video, if you want to see some more interesting videos about the Turbografx or PC Engine, game or hardware related, probably nothing as rare as this. But yeah, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing some more videos based on Turbografx and PC Engine stuff, because I've got a lot of hardware to go through. And I've also got another cover, chiptune cover that I play on guitar, bass, drums in the works. So if you want to hear some chiptunes converted to real instruments, that's something I'll be doing as well. So hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, hope to see you again.